WZ Tales is back with another story. This one is about a man whose fiancée ends their engagement at brunch 6 weeks before the wedding to chase a life he never agreed to. See if you think they both did the right thing in the end. My fiancée said, "I can't marry you." I replied, "Thank you. Now I need my family's ring back." Then I took my grandmother's ring home, let the wedding burn itself down, refused to bail her out of the deposits, and watched as an email from her boss revealed the life she chose without me. My name is Elliot, and up until a few weeks ago, I thought I was getting married in 6 weeks. My fiancée Marissa and I had been together for 4 years. We got engaged 8 months ago. The venue was booked, the caterer was booked, the DJ was booked, the photographer was booked. Her dress had been altered. My groomsmen had their suits. Invitations were out. This was happening, or at least that is what I thought. Marissa is a creative strategist at a big marketing firm. I am a mechanical engineer. She is spontaneous and creative. I am methodical and practical. It always felt like we balanced each other out. She loved trying new restaurants and planning last-minute weekend trips. I loved having someone pull me out of my routines. I thought we were a good team. Last Tuesday, she texted me asking if I wanted to do brunch on Saturday with her 3 closest friends, Tiffany, Alyssa, and Priya. She said it would be nice to have something light and fun before the final stretch of wedding stress. I said sure. I like her friends well enough, and I figured it would be a normal pre-wedding thing. Maybe talking about the honeymoon, joking about vows, that kind of moment. Saturday morning, we met at this trendy spot downtown. Exposed brick, loud music, and expensive brunch food. Her friends were already there. There were hugs, mimosas, a lot of laughter. I ordered coffee. I had already been to the gym, and I am not really a midday champagne person, but it was fine. The conversation was easy. They asked about the wedding, joked about me being nervous, talked about her dress and the venue. It all felt normal. Then Alyssa asked a simple question about the wedding party photos. I watched Marissa's face change. She went a little pale. She put her fork down and stared at her plate for a second. The table went quiet. Then she looked up at me with a face I had never seen before, not angry, not even sad, just decided. "I cannot marry you," she said. Right there, at brunch, in front of her 3 best friends. At first I thought I had misheard her. Tiffany laughed once like it was a joke she did not understand, then stopped when Marissa did not smile. Marissa kept looking at me. "I cannot marry you," she repeated. "I do not love you the way a wife should." The table went very still. I could hear the espresso machine behind me and someone clinking dishes in the kitchen. Alyssa looked like she wanted to sink through her chair. Priya's mouth literally dropped open, and here is the strange part. I did not cry, I did not yell, I did not argue. Maybe it was shock, maybe it was pride, maybe both. I just nodded, took a breath, and said, "Thank you for being honest, I need the ring back." The engagement ring was my grandmother's, white gold, 3 small diamonds. Not huge, but full of meaning. Marissa looked down at her hand like she had forgotten it was there, then she slid the ring off. Her hand shook a little as she passed it back. I put it in my pocket and stood up. I looked at her friends and said, "Wedding is off, obviously. I guess I will be throwing a dodged a bullet party instead. You are all invited." Then I walked out, left my coffee half finished, left Marissa sitting there with her friends. On the drive home, I felt numb and somehow relieved at the same time. It did not make sense yet, but that feeling was there. Sometimes your body understands that something is over before your mind catches up. There is a detail that becomes important. All of the wedding contracts were in Marissa's name, not mine, not both of ours, just hers. About 6 months into the engagement, she became very firm about wanting everything under her name. She talked about maintaining her financial independence and not wanting to lose herself by having me pay for everything. I thought it was a little unusual, but I respected it. She has a good job. She wanted to contribute. I saw it as a sign she was serious about being an equal partner. In reality, the total cost was about $62,000, split between us in terms of who had transferred what to whom. But on paper, every contract had her name. So when I walked away from that brunch, I had my grandmother's ring back, and she had $62,000 in non-refundable deposits tied to a wedding that was no longer happening. I did not hear from her that day. No text, no call. Her friends, though, started messaging. Tiffany sent a long text about how cold feet are normal and there is always a way to work things out. Alyssa called twice. Priya sent a short message saying she was sorry. My groomsmen were confused. My mom cried. My dad asked me 3 times if I was sure I did not want to try to fix it, but in my head, there was one sentence on repeat. I do not love you the way a wife should. What was there to fix after that? A lot of people think the pain comes from the breakup itself. Often it comes from the way it is done. About a week later, I got calls and messages from Marissa's side of the family and her extended friend group. Not all of them, but enough. The tone was similar. Her cousin sent a long text saying I was being petty by refusing to help with the costs because you were going to pay for half anyway, so what is the difference? Her college roommate left a voicemail saying that I was showing my true colors by walking away when things got hard. Even Tiffany messaged again, this time saying a real man would help clean up the mess even if the relationship was over. According to them, I had abandoned her with all the wedding debt. I did not answer any of them. The deposits were in her name because she had insisted on it. She was the one who had chosen to end the engagement. I was not going to pay for a wedding that was no longer mine. Then 3 days later, Marissa rang my doorbell. It was around 7 in the evening. I looked through the peephole and saw her standing there. For a moment, I thought about ignoring it. That felt childish, so I opened the door. She looked tired. Not dramatic, not sobbing, just worn out. Can I come in? She asked. Sure, I said. We sat down in my living room. She took the armchair. I sat on the couch. She got straight to the point. I need your help with the wedding costs. No apology, no small talk, no how are you, just that. I cannot cover all of it on my own, she said. You were planning to pay half anyway. I am asking you to honor that. It felt like a business meeting. I asked her, why would I pay for a wedding that is not happening? She said, because you are capable of it and I am drowning here. She was right about one thing. I am more financially stable than her. I earn more, I have more savings, I live more carefully, but that was not the point. You chose to end the engagement, I said. You chose to put everything in your name. You chose not to talk to me before you did it. I am not going to bail you out of that decision. You wanted independence, I added. You have it. To my surprise, she did not yell. She did not try to argue. She just nodded, stood up, and left. No goodbye, no closure speech. Just the sound of my door closing. Sometimes, I am drowning means I want you to save me from the consequences of my own choices. After that, her friends and family kept pushing. Some of my own friends were split. Half of them thought I was absolutely right. The other half thought I was being too harsh. My mom asked me, are you sure this is who you want to be? That one hurt. All the while, I kept thinking about the past year. Marissa had been traveling more. Not just normal work trips, but international conferences, weekend workshops, networking events in other cities. One of my groomsmen, Jake, who is also friends with her, mentioned that she had told him her company was opening doors for her and that she was building something. I realized that she had been building a separate professional life I did not know much about. I had not asked many questions. I did not want to be controlling. I thought I was being supportive by giving her space. Looking back, I could see I had missed something important. Maybe she had not left because I had done something wrong. Maybe she had left because she had quietly outgrown the life we were planning together and did not know how to say it. That thought did not make it hurt less, but it changed the shape of the hurt. About 10 days after that last conversation, the noise stopped. No more calls from her family, no more messages from her friends, no updates from Marissa, complete silence. At first I was relieved, then it started to feel strange, too sudden, too quiet. About a week later I got an email. The subject line said, "Request to speak, personal matter." It was from someone named Catherine Brennan. She was not Marissa's direct boss, but a senior creative director at her company, her mentor. The email was long. I read it 3 times. Here is the core of it. Catherine explained that she had known Marissa for 5 years and had been mentoring her. She said she was not writing to defend what Marissa did, and she agreed that the brunch breakup was a bad choice. But she said she had been part of the background. She had been encouraging Marissa through a big decision for months and had watched her struggle with how to tell me. She felt I deserved context that Marissa could not bring herself to give. Then she told me the truth. Marissa had not left me for someone else. She had not left me because she stopped loving me. She had left because she had accepted a position with her company's European division. It was a huge role. She would be leading creative strategy for a multi-city expansion project. For at least 3 years, she would be traveling about 10 to 14 days a month, rotating between London, Amsterdam, and Berlin. It came with a big raise and a career path that people in her field dream about. Catherine said Marissa had been interviewing for this role for 6 months, since before we got engaged. The final decision had come through 2 months earlier, right around when we sent out the wedding invitations. Marissa knew the job did not match the life we had talked about. She knew I wanted stability, a house in the suburbs, kids in the next few years. She knew I would not be excited about a marriage where she was gone half the month. Catherine wrote that Marissa had considered telling me and trying to make it work. But she was afraid that I would twist myself into knots to support her and then end up miserable. So, instead of asking me to compromise or change my plans, she decided to end it quickly, before we were any more tied together. She chose not to tell me about the job. She convinced herself that a clean break was kinder than a long, painful back and forth where she kept having to say no. Catherine ended the email with this: "She did not break the engagement to hurt you. She broke it before you built a life that neither of you would thrive in. She loved you enough to let you go before you resented her for choosing her career." I sat with that for a long time. On one hand, I was angry. She had known about this job for 6 months and said nothing. We had spent months picking flowers and cakes and venues while she held a huge secret. On the other hand, I understood. If she had told me about the job, I would have tried to make it work. I know myself. I would have suggested long distance or delayed kids or tried to adjust my career to travel with her. I would have bent until I broke because that is what you think love is supposed to do. But the truth is, I want Sunday dinners. I want a yard. I want kids before I am 35. I want someone who is physically present more often than they are not. Marissa wants airports, new cities, big campaigns, and constant movement. Neither of us is wrong. We are just not going in the same direction. Sometimes love is not about choosing a person over an opportunity. It is about admitting you and that person want different versions of a good life. After that email, I canceled the big dodged a bullet party I had planned. It did not feel right to celebrate like she was a villain when I knew the full story now. My best man, Jake, convinced me to do something smaller. Not a victory party, just a night with close friends. Pizza and cards, a way to mark that a chapter was closing. Last Friday, about 12 people came over. We played games, told stories, and for the first time in weeks, the night did not revolve around Marissa. Around 10, my phone buzzed with another email. This one was from Patricia Allen, Marissa's mom. I stepped out onto my balcony to read it. She thanked me for how I had handled everything. She said she knew her daughter had hurt me and that their family had not made it easy at first. She said she had noticed that I had never attacked Marissa publicly, never tried to turn people against her, and never mocked her for choosing her career. "That took character," she wrote, "and I want you to know I see that." She told me Marissa had been crying a lot, that she was carrying guilt about how she ended things, that she knew the brunch breakup had been cowardly. Patricia said she and Catherine had both reached out to me even though Marissa had not wanted them to, because they felt I deserved to know the truth. Then Patricia wrote one more thing. When Marissa came to my apartment asking for help with the wedding costs, she was not actually drowning. She had already figured out how to cover them. She had taken on extra freelance work, dipped into her savings, and set up payment plans with the vendors. She showed up at my door because she thought that if I hated her, it would be easier for me to move on. She did not stop loving you, Patricia wrote. She just realized that love was not enough for the life she chose, and she knows you deserve someone whose dreams align with yours. She told me Marissa was leaving for London in 2 weeks. She said she was proud of her daughter and also sad. She had expected to be helping her plan a wedding. Instead, she was helping her ship boxes overseas. "I hope you find what you are looking for, Elliot," she wrote. "You are a good man and you will make someone very happy one day." I stood on the balcony for a while, listening to my friends laughing inside. She did not stop loving you. She just realized that love was not enough. That line settled in my chest. I went back inside, rejoined the games, and something in me felt different. I was not angry anymore. I was clear. So here is where I ended up. Marissa made the right choice in ending the engagement. The way she did it was wrong. The secrecy was unfair. The brunch scene was careless and hurtful. The pressure about the deposits was messy and unnecessary. But in the big picture, ending it was the right call. I want a life she cannot give. She wants a life I cannot support. We loved each other, but we were not headed to the same place. For the wedding deposits, I made one final decision. The wedding would have been this weekend. Instead, I am going hiking with Jake and a few friends, getting out of the city, clearing my head. Before that, I transferred Marissa about half of what the wedding had cost. I did not send a message with it. I did not tell her I was doing it. I just sent the money. I do not want to feel like she sacrificed financially for a wedding that was supposed to belong to both of us. We both walked away from that future. We should both carry the cost. I have not spoken to her since the night she came by my apartment. I do not plan to. We do not need one last talk. Her mom's email was enough. I hope she does well in London. I hope she builds the career she wants. I hope her life fits her. And I hope mine fits me. Here are some lessons from this story. Lesson 1. The way someone ends a relationship matters as much as the decision itself. Honesty without care is not kindness. Lesson 2. Contracts and money reflect real power. If someone insists on putting everything in their name, be clear about what that will mean if things go wrong. Lesson 3. You are not obligated to rescue someone from the consequences of a choice they made without you. Compassion does not always mean payment. Lesson 4. Love alone is not enough if your visions for the future are pulling in opposite directions. Shared values and shared lifestyle matter. Lesson 5. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for both of you is to accept that you are not each other's future and stop trying to force a fit. Lesson 6. You deserve a partner whose dreams align with yours, not someone who needs you to shrink or stretch yourself into a life that hurts you. What about you? At what point in this story would you have drawn the line and stopped trying to fix things? And have you ever had to accept that love was not enough because your futures were headed in different directions? Share your thoughts in the comments.